Hi everyone, welcome back to the Moving Along podcast. Today is our 41st episode, and we're going to be talking about a really fun topic going back in time to some of our guilty pleasures, past and present, I guess. But before we get to that, of course, we always do a little introduction to our weeks and cover what happened in our past weeks. So, Sally, do you want to tell us a tale of what happened this week?
Tale. This week I have a somewhat surprising weekly update, I guess.
Oh,
I went rock climbing over the weekend at Ice Press
okay.
with a good friend, Nick. It was fun. It was a fun time. Like I see the appeal of rock climbing. I see why you go so often, Ming. But I was so sore afterwards because I hadn't rock climbed in like 2 years.
Your
And
forearms?
yeah, my forearms were so stiff and I couldn't move my fingers afterward. It was terrible. And I got I scraped the skin off of one of my fingers, but it was fun.
How long were
Sally's
you
going
there?
hard.
I was there for like 3 hours, but I only
Oh.
climbed for like half of it.
Mm.
The second half, I wore myself out in the beginning, and then I was just like I kept failing afterwards, and then I just sat there and like watched people climb. It's a very encouraging community. There were like random people there that were really good, and they would just be like nice, or like they would just yell affirmations at you, I guess.
Yeah. Wait, that's actually something that I talked about when I was climbing a few months ago, where we were saying that the person who I was with who climbs a lot, her love language is words of affirmation because she's always like cheering people on and like, oh my God, you're so close, or you got this. But yeah, everyone's so vocal.
Mm-hmm.
No, you should start yelling stuff too.
No, I feel so embarrassed like sitting there watching people like, and yelling stuff at them.
Encourage Nick.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, but yeah, moving on to Linda.
Wait, I had another question.
Oh yeah, what's your question?
Which one did you go to? Because there's a few Earth
Oh,
treks
I went
around
to
here.
the one in Colombia, but then I realized the one in Crystal City is closer to me, so I'll probably be going there next.
Okay.
Another
Have you been
plan.
to that one?
I haven't been to any of them.
Oh,
I've never been to Earth treks.
well, our good friend Nick works there, so he got me in for free.
Oh,
Nicholas.
You can
Nicholas,
ask
are
him
you
to get you
listening?
in.
Yeah, tell him to hit me up next time. But that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Maybe next time you can tag along.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Linda, how was your week?
I guess I have a plan coming up. So today I was connecting with someone who is my potential future roommate. Someone from this org that I'm in was looking for a new place. So we're talking a bit, and we have a call scheduled for tomorrow.
Ooh.
And we said
I
that
thought Ming
we
was
would-
your potential roommate.
It's fine.
Ming is
It's fine.
taking a while.
Wait, did you find them in the Tassa or not Tassa, the fake Tassa,
The retrograde task.
the retrograde?
Okay.
Wait, what do you call it? The renegade.
It's
Oh, yeah,
renegade. Bro.
Oops.
It's like connected to that. So the renegade task is part of a larger umbrella group.
Mhm.
So it's like one of those people. So it's also like in Asian American, we have like similar interests because we're part of the same group. But hopefully for maybe January.
Wow, soon.
And
Okay. Yeah, too soon for me.
yeah, but we were looking at the apartment and it looks really nice because it has like wood floors and exposed brick. I think those are the two
Ooh.
elements that
You sound like best dressed.
really make up a space.
Is it in
In DC?
DC?
Yes, in DC. It's where is it? I think in Shaw. In online somewhere where the green line is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So you're really tired of being at home, huh?
I mean, I feel like I have to kind of force myself to move out because I'm like too comfortable here. I feel like it's too easy to just kind of do nothing. So I do want to experience moving out.
How did you even like connect over that? They were just looking for a roommate and you're like, okay, this is a sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because people just post about like random stuff. So
Are they scouting out other roommate options, or are you the only candidate?
I don't know. Hopefully I can beat out the competition.
Well, yeah, I guess you'll know more after your call tomorrow about their personality, kind of.
Yeah, that's true, because it might not even like work out at the, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Ming, how was your week?
Yeah, I don't have that much exciting stuff to talk about, I guess. Today I had the day off because it's Veterans Day, so I've been eyeing this new plant nursery that I've been hearing about in Silver Spring, so I went there with my mom, and it was kind of weird because it was really small and like it's on their personal property, so it's like behind their house. So it kind of looked like it was not like an actual commercial space, but we called them and they said they were open and we went in and no one else was in there. We had the whole nursery to ourselves the entire time we were there, which was really cool. So they had really like rare plants and kind of like tropical-ish plants. So I had a lot of fun looking around there.
How did you find out about it?
I just through Instagram. Like I follow a few people in the DMV area on my plant Instagram account and they were talking about it. So I was like, okay, I'd like to check it out. And I never get to go to nurseries during the weekdays because they always close at 5, which is when I get off work. But today I decided, okay, I'm going to go. And then my mom just was like, I'll come along too. So it was nice. It was a nice bonding time too.
Is your mom supportive of your plant hobby?
She actually is. Like, she's the
Wow.
one that's enabling me because I went to the nursery and I was like debating about this plant. I wasn't sure if I should get it. I wasn't really planning to buy anything, but I just wanted to look and then I found it and she's like, it's not that expensive. Like, you're gonna want it when you leave. So
Wow, that's so
That's
nice.
true.
My mom's the opposite. Every
Oh,
time I
really?
bring back a plant, she's like, "No more plants. They're gonna like eventually they're gonna die anyways."
I
Did
mean,
your
she's
mom
not
get anything?
wrong.
I mean,
Yeah, my
it's
mom.
because we had a lot of problems with like fungus gnats and
Oh.
pests and then after we got it treated chemically with this like insecticide, some of our plants started dying from the insecticide, the chemicals. So yeah, it's a headache.
You just keep them in your apartment. Don't
And the
bring them
ones in my
home.
apartment are fine. Well, most of them are fine.
Yeah. I think my mom just likes the fact that I have a hobby, I guess. I don't know, like something to put my interest in that's like not sketchy. Like, I don't know. Like everyone can appreciate plants, I guess. So yeah,
It's a
that was
wholesome
basically my week.
activity.
Yeah, it was nice to have a break from work because last week and even this week has been kind of rough in terms of just like a lot of projects to work on. And yesterday I had to like submit some reports and then the vice president came back with like a lot of questions and it was stressful and it was like the first time I was actually paid attention to by like higher ups. So it was kind of like nerve-wracking, I guess. But yeah, that's been my week.
All right, like Ming said in the opening, we are talking about our guilty pleasures today, whether past, present, or future. And just to define guilty pleasure, it is something such as a movie, TV show, piece of music, something that we enjoy despite feeling that it's not generally held in high regard. So it's something that we're kind of like embarrassed to say that we like, etc. But first, let's start off with sharing our shared guilty pleasures, something that we all enjoy, that we're all embarrassed about, but we still like it. So the first thing we want to talk about is our love for country music.
Okay, I feel like love
Ming, as
maybe
the first person who was interested in country music. Okay, our interests in country music.
Our interest in country music. Okay, I'm kind of like jokingly annoyed by this one because I feel like I got teased. Actually, I don't know if you guys teased me, but I got teased a lot when I was younger for liking country music. And then suddenly, my two best friends became into country music, and now you guys listen to it more than I do. I'm pretty sure. Like Lena always has it
Probably.
playing in the car when I like get in the car with her.
It's for
I
the
don't
car
understand what
aesthetic.
happened. A car aesthetic. But yeah, I just picked
Oh
it up,
my
I guess, from
gosh.
my family, who's like pretty rural and listens to it regularly. So I like some of their music. I especially like the more romance, like when they talk about their loves and like that sort of stuff. But like I don't know how you guys got into it. Explain.
Sally, explain.
Well, I think I got into it, or I was first exposed to it by my ex-boyfriend, who was into country music, and he was playing it in the car. And then I had like a prejudice against country music at first because everyone shits on it just because it's country music. But then when I heard, I think it was like Tequila, I was like, wow, this really speaks to me.
The tequila.
And then because at the time, like I was driving my 2003 Toyota Corolla, which doesn't have like a Bluetooth like feature, so I had to listen to the radio if I wanted music. So I listened to WMZQ starting like around summer of sophomore year or something, because I had nothing else to listen to in my car. So then I would just listen to country music, and that's how I got into it. And then I started making like playlists for it too, so that I could listen to it outside my car.
Troll playlist.
Sally,
Like
playlist?
nowadays, oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a country playlist on Spotify, but I don't really listen to it much nowadays because I haven't really been in the mood for country music. And my car now has Bluetooth, so I don't have to listen to it.
It was like it wasn't by choice, it was by situation.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Linda, share your story.
Similar to Sally, I was also driving an old Toyota when I started listening to country music, and I think I listened to a different station. It's like WPOC or something. I remember I was in the car with Meg, and we were like, "What does POC stand for?"
What?
It's like people of country. And that was the radio station that played country music all the time. I think for the aesthetic, you know how country songs have like your blue Tacoma truck. That's like the one song I remember.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like about driving your tractor or whatever. It makes me feel more confident when I'm driving, especially over like the soil conservation road where it's like over the
my
open
gosh.
field and stuff. I'm like,
wait, actually,
I'm really
that is
feeling this
actually
country music.
that's a perfect setting when you're driving through the USDA, all those farmlands.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I kind
feel
of
like
get
you're
what
in
you're
a music
saying
video.
though. Yeah, where it's like
Mhm.
also what Sally said about having to be in a mood for it. I think I feel the same way about country music where I can't listen to it all the time, but it does put you in a certain like almost well, maybe for me because I grew up listening to it, it puts me in like a nostalgic kind of like slow moving kind of mood where I'm just like letting life be, you know? That kind of vibe. And Lyndon and I were talking about this honestly when we were listening to it, like driving, I think when we went to your house a few weeks ago, but we're talking about how it's like very much a story kind of storytelling type of genre where like I think a lot of pop music is just a lot of repetition of sounds and stuff like that, and it does have some storytelling to it, but country music is really like telling a story, setting the scene. A lot of times there's like a protagonist who's the singer himself or herself, and like a whole like kind of mini drama plays out, especially with like the romance ones. So I kind of like listening to it for that.
Like pop music is like a G6,
do
and then
like-
country music is like I have a wife,
Oh
and then
my
we have 4
gosh.
kids, and they all went to high school, and now I'm a grandfather and stuff like that. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah. I think like also I really like how you can actually hear the lyrics in country music and you can sing along to it, because when I listen to pop songs, I don't know like half of what they're saying even though they're speaking English. I just can't follow along with the lyrics. But then these, it's simple, you know, when I taste tequila or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm curious to why you all, well, I guess why we all have kind of like a bias against country music, and for a long time, like I guess this area is just not rural, so you're not growing up listening to it, but it almost seems like when you ask people what their favorite music is, it's like, oh, I like anything but country, or like literally anything but country. I can't listen to country. That sort of like mindset. I'm wondering why.
Like, yeah, people are like, oh, I listen to everything, but then they're like, oh, but I don't listen to country. Everyone around here is like that. Whenever they say they listen to like any type of music, it's always like except country. But I think it's because we're in like a hello.
Yes.
Oh,
Your video's frozen.
I think it's because we're in like a suburban area where like, oh my god, can you hear me? Okay. I think it's because we're in like a suburban area where, like no one can relate to the lyrics from country music because we don't live on a farm. We don't have those dirt roads and like no one drives a truck here. So maybe it's like they can't relate to that kind of lifestyle. I don't know.
Also, country music is like a white people thing usually. And country music is
Yeah.
associated with like Republicans or conservatives. And some of them probably are like, I don't know, I never researched too closely to the artists that I listen to because I don't want to know. Like if Jason Aldean is like a super Trump supporter, I don't want to know. But there's also like that factor of guilt that you might be listening to someone whose views like you don't agree with.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And like, I guess, sorry, in this area, you associate, like you said, it with white people, I guess, and so you're kind of like distancing yourself, and also like you're distancing yourself from like rural people, where I guess sometimes even I have the mindset of like being in an urban area, we are maybe more educated or more open-minded, even though this is a closed-minded thought, but maybe we're more like Linda said, liberal. So trying to distance yourself from that lifestyle of like, yeah, country, of just very close-knit kind of environment too, I think. Or at least that's why I guess I kind of still have a bias against it because I associate it with, close-minded people in my family or something like that. But if someone asks you if like you listen to country music or what kind of music do you listen to, do you say country music now? Like, do you admit it?
Yeah, I say country music.
Yeah.
Okay, Linda.
Yeah. When I went on that Hinge date a few weeks ago, we were like sharing our music tastes, and I proudly admitted that I like country music, and surprisingly, he also like. I mean, he didn't hate it. I don't know if he was that into it as me, but
I think.
But also, I think like what you said about like the ruralness. Oh, so I think like listening to country music makes me kind of imagine what it would be like if I lived in a more rural community and like in a tight knit community. So like kind of imagining what it would be like if I had like their life that they're talking about and their stories is kind of exciting to imagine.
Yeah, you feel like super removed from that kind of like small town life, that like rustic kind of feeling that it's like immersion to listen to the song. But also I feel like as a second gen Asian immigrant, there's like that feeling that country music is like I guess a more foreign type of music. Like it's so Americana is not like really like my culture. I'm like immersing into someone else's world. But like country is like American like folk music kind of for like a specific part of the country. But if I think to my own homeland, the folk music there is like that version of country music, which is so different. But I think for like the inner Mongolian part, it's also about like grassland, is about like a rural area, it's about like a small town. So the content is the same, but like the feeling is so different.
Wait, that's such a good point, Linda. It's like, yeah, the kind of sentiment behind it is similar, where a lot of times when they're not singing about like how sexy their tractor is or something, they're singing about like their love for the land or their love for their community. And so that can be like a good thing to hold on to for country music. Besides like just the general like liking country music, I think when I first didn't know anyone who liked it, it was kind of like I don't know, not a what's the opposite of a red flag? I guess like a green flag, kind of like, oh, like this other Asian likes country music. Because I remember when I was first talking to Redacted, he also liked country music, and it was like the first Asian American person.
Dorito?
Yes, Dorito. He like really liked country music, and I was like, wow, like this is someone that can like understand what it's like to like have rural family members, because his family was from like Southern Maryland. And so I thought it was like a good sign, but then I don't know, other things like clouded that, but that was like my
I mean, it's
mentality.
not like a measurement of something. It's like
I know, but I guess like I guess my perception of who listens to country music too had like changed that. But glad to know we all our proud listeners of country music.
Maybe Sally will share a playlist.
I feel like the country music like world has been pretty quiet lately, though. I need some new drops from Jason Aldean, you know.
Jason Aldean. Yeah, I'm like Linda though. I'm like very. I try intentionally not to pay attention to their social media or anything because I'm not, you know.
I mean, I don't pay attention to it either, but I just feel like it's been quiet. I don't know why. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have
You're really
the
moving.
the next guilty pleasures that we all share is having a Tumblr blog and being involved in like Tumblr communities. So we can all share like which communities specifically we're involved in Tumblr. And do you want to all share also why you were embarrassed to
I think
like
that's a good
first of all
point.
even have a Tumblr and then be in the community? So Ming, you want to go first?
Me starting. Yeah, I guess Tumblr is what we like when we were brainstorming this episode, we kind of eventually got into our Tumblrs and it was almost like so much fun to look back and reminisce on that. But I got into Tumblr kind of I don't know what the average user age is, but I got into it like early to mid high school and I kept using it until early college, like maybe beginning of sophomore year I stopped using it completely. But it was for me not really a guilty pleasure, but more of kind of like a community where I could just share my own thoughts and like not worry about it being like social media where you have to like portray yourself in a really nice way or your life is glamorous. It was just like a place where I could connect with people who had the same ideas as me. And so like speaking on that, the community that I was in mostly was called the Study Blur community, or App Blur is a different one. So Study Blur is like the really aesthetic notes and the Muji pens and like people would actually like show off the notes that they've written for classes. They'd show off maybe their school like journals and notebooks, and it was like very like stationary aesthetic. They had like the whole I don't know if people know this, but like the laptop background where it had like the giant clock on it, and it was like yeah, hello Ming or something like that. It was like everyone was taking pictures of it with like twinkly lights and like a cup of coffee, that sort of aesthetic. And so I was really into that. I think just because I was so into studying in high school and it was part of my life, so why not it be part of my internet life? And then Appler, I started getting into like junior and senior year of high school. And that was kind of like a branch off of Study Blur where it was all about applying to colleges and like people would stress out, share their stresses about applying to colleges and what colleges they were applying to and if anyone had any tips or like if they'd visit the colleges. And so I feel like it was just kind of Tumblr was like a magnification of what was already in my brain, I guess, like what I was already thinking about and kind of worrying about. So I've actually found a pretty good community there and I had I don't know, I
a
had
decent
like
amount of followers.
Yeah, I had a decent amount of followers.
Your
and
follower count.
I would always like have a hashtag and stuff like that. And I don't know, it was like a very nice community. And I didn't share it with I don't think I shared it with you guys when I was currently using it, or like I didn't talk about it that much.
I found out about it. Or I found your blog in like senior year or something.
Oh boy.
But I don't know if I followed you or I don't think we interacted. I think I just like stalked you on Tumblr.
I know Linda.
I also found things and I sent you an anon. I think that's how you say
Anon?
it. Anon.
Yeah, like you could send people anonymous messages and that was always fun to like answer and stuff like that. But I think I intentionally like separated it from like I didn't talk about it with like outsider friends or like advertise it or anything like that. So I guess in that way it's a guilty pleasure, but more of just like a safe space kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the fact that well, I was gonna say I like the fact that like everyone you interact with on Tumblr, or like most of the people you interact with on Tumblr are just like random people and they don't know who you actually are. So it's just like a username and a blog to them.
Yeah.
So there's no like personal attachment to, I guess, I don't know. There's no shame in it, I guess.
Right. that's how it's different from like social media, where your name and your face isn't really connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more people are following you just because of the content that you're sharing, not because they know you personally, which is kind of freeing, honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
So what happened to it?
yeah. So when I got in, obviously Appler kind of ended when I got into college. Like everyone in the Appler community made an announcement like, "Oh, this is the college I'm going to, and like stay tuned for more like study tips or like I'll help you guys get into this college." That sort of like language. But then of course when we actually got into college, we were caught up with college. So
I mean,
I
it's a
think
college blur, right?
yeah,
Almost.
but like at least my year, like we had an Appler 2020 or whatever, and like everyone in that hashtag community kind of just like their Tumblrs transformed into like whatever they wanted to share, like aesthetic photos or whatever. And that's kind of what I did. I like reverted back to like posting whatever. Um, I used it freshman year, and I'm gonna tell you this only because it's deleted, so you can't find it. But freshman year, I used it a lot to like share my kind of like moody, kind of emotional feelings, a lot of times about boys or just what was happening in college. But I would always like, it was a thing in Tumblr to like use the hashtag to share your feelings, like not an actual post, but you would like hashtag like I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I used it for that, and then I started getting too busy in college, and then I just used it like on holiday breaks, and then I eventually like it just stopped, and I deleted it maybe a year ago when I was embarrassed. I was looking back on it, I was like, this can never be found. So I deleted it, but I kind of regret it now.
You can
What about
always
you
make a
all?
new one.
Hmm.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. So I joined Tumblr, I think, actually, honestly, I don't really remember when, but I think it was between middle school and high school, sometime around then. So like beginning of high school or end of middle school. And my first Tumblr blog was all about anime because at the time that's what I was into. And I made my Tumblr along with like two other my friends at the same time. So we would like send each other posts and like tag each other and stuff. So it was kind of like in that sense, I had like some in IRL friends on Tumblr, but like also I had a bunch of just random people, that I follow and they follow me back. And honestly, now that I think of it, I followed so many people on my first Tumblr. It was like thousands and thousands of people. But
Oh my
then
gosh.
and then so my first Tumblr, I actually had like a decent amount of followers. I wasn't like super popular, but it was thriving. But then I kind of like and I put a lot of effort into like designing my
Coding.
blog. Yeah,
Mm,
which that made me really like excited about, I don't know, website design. Like at that point in my life, I was like, I don't know, it was just fun to see like how aesthetic my blog was. But then I kind of like fell out of that fandom community of the animes that I was watching because I don't know, I finished the animes and then I didn't really like get caught up into series and stuff like that. So yeah, and then I slowly shifted over to K-pop like as a interest. So then I decided share my feelings about it to other people on Tumblr. So that's what I did. But that one wasn't as successful as my anime blog.
oh,
But yeah, I think it was interesting to see how even though like I had one main fandom when I was like using Tumblr on my dashboard, I would also see like bleed through from other like niches in Tumblr. So like I saw some study blur posts. I
mm,
would see some like other like anime posts or K-pop posts when I'm not like when I wasn't my blog wasn't dedicated to them. Yeah, I would just see like sometimes it would my dashboard would just be like a eclectic mix of stuff. Like it wasn't focused on one thing specifically,
hmm.
but it was fun. Uh, I think it was fun to vent in the hashtags.
Yeah.
So you also did that?
Yes.
Ooh, I want to go back and read them.
Is it
Yeah,
still available, Sally?
I think it's still available. Actually, both my blogs are still available, but I don't think you can see the hashtags unless you have the Tumblr app or you have a Tumblr account
Mm.
and you look through that.
I'll make one just for that.
Oh.
But yeah, what you were talking about, I guess the different communities. I think that's what I liked about Tumblr too, is that I don't know, I feel like with Instagram, okay, you guys know that I had like different types of Instagrams, over the
You have like
years.
5 accounts. Yeah.
Yeah, like I made them when I was really into that hobby or whatever, and then I deleted them. But I feel like with Tumblr, it doesn't really matter. Like, yes, you have a main like community or fandom, but like you said, there everything comes across your dashboard anyway. So it's like it
Yeah.
could be kind of a mess or a collection. And I kind of liked how like me, my face and my name wasn't represented, but like my interests were represented.
Mm-hmm.
So like the
Yeah.
people were following me because they liked what I liked. I don't know, I really liked that aspect of it.
The anonymity.
Yes.
And I like the interaction. You know those posts that are like, I don't know, like pick a number and then like send you something, some
Oh,
questions or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Like those kind of interactive posts. I don't know, like kind of like chainmail actually, but those are kind of fun.
Yeah. It added that like element of community to it, and you still didn't have to like really reveal yourself.
Yeah.
Wait, remember they had like the fan mail icon in Tumblr? People would send people fan mail. It's like a whole thing. I thought that was like super nice because fan mail is like, it sounds more legit. You're not just like DMing, you know?
Yeah. They also had the thing in our, I guess, study blur community, probably in others, where it was again like that chainmail kind of idea where tag like 10 accounts that like you really look forward to seeing
Yeah.
or whatever. And then it would always like kind of make my day to see if I was
Be
tagged or
tagged.
like,
Yeah.
wow, it was always really a nice feeling because again, I knew that like it was about my content, not about like me. So I don't know, it was like super special. I feel like you can find some really good communities on Tumblr. Some also scary ones, but you know, there's different ones. Whatever anyone's interested in, it's like a whole world.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Linda, what were you interested in?
I wasn't that into Tumblr like
Mm.
you guys, I think. I was mostly reblogging random things. I did not put any effort into making my theme look nice or whatever, but I did make a Tumblr around the same time, I think middle school or early high school. And that was when I was into I went into like emo phase, but it was something like that. So I would reblog like screamo bands and whatever for the aesthetic. And I think that's like the embarrassing part, like not because it was Tumblr or it was like a community, but because looking back at your old self is always kind of cringy. Like, I can't believe I used to write this in the tags, or like I wrote this weird thing. Like, even though it's like NBD, just like looking back to see what you wrote, like even for like my journal freshman year of college, I'm like, I don't want to see this ever again. So just being reminded of that, like, I guess that time is like, oh, like I associate Tumblr with this like emo scene type of thing. And Ming, I think I told you this, but when you said like when you listen to music that you liked a long time ago, it like triggers some kind of feeling. And after you said that, I went back to listen to Linkin Park, and I was like in my feelings all randomly at work. I'm like, this is really how I felt when I was like 15 years old. But it was nice to look back, I guess. But I think I'm still on Tumblr now. I think the collapse of Tumblr was when porn was banned, and lots of people like were like jumping ship after that.
Okay, I feel really dumb because when I heard about the collapse of Tumblr, I didn't hear anything about the porn part. I literally just heard that like Tumblr's as we know it is over, it's ending. So I was like, oh shit, like I don't
I thought
well I
Yahoo
didn't
bought it or something.
yeah, like something
Yeah.
like I thought it was I didn't realize the association was like porn, so I thought I didn't use it anyway, so I was like I might as well delete it also because of that. But yeah, I had no idea. I don't know, is it any different? Like do you notice a change
Not really,
besides
because
the
I
lack of
wasn't really
porn?
following porn blogs. Although I would come across it. I think that was the first time I saw porn as a young pubescent, because it would just come up on your dashboard because it wasn't like regulated at all,
That
and
was
like some
kind
people
of
wouldn't tag it.
It was wild.
Yeah. But I did see a recent text post that's like, since like porn was banned from Tumblr, there's a new genre that emerged of like a tender, like longing text post, because you would
like
have to
soft
express
porn.
Soft porn?
kind of, maybe. I think they were talking about like text posts where people would like write out their feelings because they couldn't express it through like
Oh.
blogging porn or something.
I think, yeah, wait, what were you gonna say, Sally?
Oh, I think also on Tumblr, like fan fiction was a big thing. So people would, I don't know if they did it in the post itself or they would link it, but a lot of people shared their fanfics, and that stuff also sometimes would contain like NSFW content.
NSFW. That's where I first learned about the term NSFW.
Yes, me too.
Oh yes.
Okay, maybe that's what is encapsulating the guilty part of this guilty pleasure, because I'm not saying that I intentionally like went looking for it, but like sometimes it would come across my dash.
It just pops up sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like the first time you see it, and it makes me feel like if my mom saw it, she would be like, "This whole site is just porn. Like, get rid of it." Like, but it's more than that, obviously. But I guess that little element of it, and that kind of, it made me feel guilty, but also kind of like, ooh, like.
Yeah. It was less scary than actual porn, because they would make it like artsy. It would be like a black and white photo, but when you look at actual porn, it's like going in. I don't want to see that.
Oh my god.
But I know what you're talking about. Like, especially everyone was so creative with their gifs and how they would like edit them, and I was always so jealous of that. Like, not even relating to like porn gifs, but like ones where like I was in the Grey's Anatomy fandom for a while, and so there was like this whole phase where people would like color correct it, like overly color correct it, so like everything was the same tint or like color, or like they would highlight one object a certain color, and I was always thought that was so creative, and I think like people were just so like inventive, and they were literally just doing it to post on a blog that like I don't know, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
Yeah, I can never understand how people did like when I was doing the K-pop blog, whenever some content got released, they would just immediately get to work on their edits or whatever, and then they would like post about it. And there's like blogs that are dedicated just to making edits and like gifs of stuff. So that was pretty cool. I don't know how people kept up with that.
Yeah, it's the same way as like you were saying, Sally, where you would edit the HTML and like really customize your blog beyond the typical what do you call those, templates. I felt like that made it really personal too. And I guess that's why like everyone felt so comfortable and open on Tumblr, was because it has that anonymous ability. Like you can stay anonymous, but also because you could customize it and like make it really yours. So it almost felt like your own space, at least for me, my own space on the internet. And so I guess when you feel like you have your own space, you feel more vulnerable, and you're talking about your crushes in the hashtags and like getting really like emotionally open, I guess. Or maybe that was just me.
Sally, did you talk about your crushes in the hashtags?
I didn't have crushes at the time. Okay. I talked to my K-pop crushes in the hashtag.
Okay.
Okay, now that we've all shared our our Tumblr fandom communities, now let's move on to our personal guilty pleasures that can be a little bit different from what we liked on Tumblr. And what is your personal guilty pleasure that you want to share?
I guess I can share, because I feel like I don't know, I feel like when we were looking at our list of like what we share, we have a lot of common like guilty pleasures. So I guess that just shows like how like they're not that, risque, or they're not that niche, I guess. But something that I do have that's different from you guys, and I am kind of guilty about this a lot, like is I like to watch reality TV, but specifically like the Bachelor universe of it. So The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise.
There's more?
There's so many, like Linda, there's so many spin-offs to The Bachelor. And I don't even know how I got into it, honestly. I really don't know. I think it was obviously during college year, so it was kind of late in college too. But I went through like the whole phase of like getting really into it and like following the people and like learning about the drama and like getting really caught up into it, until now I'm at the point where it's like I don't even watch the actual show. I listen to the commentary. Like commentary podcasts on the drama is what I listen to.
Oh, the meta.
Yeah, it's like I've stepped back from being like just a pure fan, and now I'm like someone who like listens to it as like, so what I listen to is a podcast called Game of Roses, and it's like it breaks it down as a game almost, and like everyone has points, and it's like a very data driven kind of podcast or perspective of the show, and they talk about how it relates to like real world and how it applies, especially this year, to politics, with the election and everything like that. And so I'd like to say that I'm not like a typical Bachelor viewer, but I'm still consuming the media. And so that's what kind of makes me feel guilty about it, is that it's an obviously problematic white like a racist show, but I, I I honestly don't know how to defend that. Like that sounds really bad. But I just the analysis of it and like how people interact, I guess, is what I like about it. Wait, where's Legend go?
Sally leave.
I guess we
Hello?
can just wait.
Okay, are you pausing the recording? I guess not.
No, I'm just gonna let it go, but stop talking.
Okay.
Okay. How was your day off, Linda?
Let me suddenly pause. I'm like seriously thinking about The Bachelor so I can contribute to the conversation.
Wait, did you watch it with me?
I think I watched like one episode, but I was like completely glazed over. I didn't know it was like so bad. No, I watched the parody version where it's like the Asian Bachelorette.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
from Wong Fu.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I got into it, honestly. I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel like you liked it before.
I know. But yeah, what did you do today?
I really did nothing. Like somehow the time just passed. But once it hits like 5 p.m., I'm like furiously doing stuff. I was like making dinner. I was like cooking. I was like, wait, I need to do the podcast. And then after that, I'm like, wait, I need to do this. But I feel like for work, it's so odd to be off because like during the middle of the day, you're like, I kind of don't know what to do because I'm usually at work right now.
Yeah, I was telling my mom it feels like I'm playing like hooky from like school or something. Like I keep like keeping my ears open, I guess, for like a notification from
ping.
Teams or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to be out during the day was such a weird feeling. Hello, Sally.
Sally.
We can't hear you.
Did you finish talking about it?
No, we just paused.
Stopped.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my audio's still going.
Yeah,
my
audio
mine too. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll just cut out that part.
What was I saying? I said it was racist. Okay.
Okay.
Let me start from there.
Okay, you can start from the beginning.
From the very beginning?
I don't know, from a starting point.
Okay.
Just
cut it.
Racist.
Okay, yeah. So, yes, it's a very problematic show, so that's why I'm so guilty, or I feel so guilty about watching it. But I like to see it that I'm watching it from a, what do you call that? A sociological perspective. Yeah. Like it makes me feel better, but I know it's not. But yeah, I like to watch it just how like people interact with each other, and it is like a nice bit of drama that I don't have in my own life. So I don't know if that's pathetic or whatever, but that's what I'm saying. That's my guilty pleasure. Have you guys ever watched or ever seen a little bit of it at all?
No.
I saw the parody, the Asian Bachelorette.
The Asian Bachelorette, yeah, that's the only one I saw too.
Yeah.
But I feel like I never see it on TV, or I don't really watch TV, so I don't know about it.
Yeah, I guess it's unique because it's still on like cable network, like it's on ABC, so it's strictly on TV, but it I don't know, it has like if you find it on Instagram, it has its own niche community. Like you can really one night I really got really into the weeds of it. Like I was following different people who were following other people and like getting really into the drama. And I think it's just because I lack my own like sometimes my life lacks that interesting spice. So I go looking for it.
Wait, do you feel like it's kind of like Mr. Wiffleball? Like very cis hetero, they're trying to pick the perfect specimen or something?
I mean, the whole idea of The Bachelor is that the classical bachelor is that it's a straight man looking for the love of his life, someone he's going to marry. So to start off just on that premise, there's like so many issues with that, and the fact that like heteronormativity, the fact that basically all of them except for a few select, and they're getting more quote unquote diverse, but it's basically white, And it's the idea that you have to get married or the end goal is marriage. Not even, oh, we're going to commit to like dating or talking about it. But no, like people want to see a ring. Like it's considered like a failed season if you don't see a proposal. So it's that whole idea, the idea that we're stirring up drama in people's lives. Like the producers will intentionally like incite drama just to make it like juicier. So there's a
How
lot of
they
issues
incite
with it.
drama?
Well, because I listen to this behind the scenes or like game kind of podcast, they talk a lot about like how the producers are manipulating it. So they're not just talking about the show as face value, but like what goes behind the scenes. And so it's a lot about like how producers will like egg you on and be like, so what do you really think about this person? Or like, come on, like you have to have some thoughts, that sort of thing. Or there's been a lot of like not spoilers, but like behind the scenes info where like the contestants can't have their phone or anything, so all they're doing is being provided like alcohol like at all times of day, and so by the time you get to the end of the night they're like pretty drunk or whatever. So it's like they're just like trying to do whatever it takes to get drama flowing, I guess, because that's get viewers. Yeah,
Sally, it's kind of like in survival shows where they like evil edit people into being like super competitive.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, they have all those edits, but
I can see the appeal of it. I mean, everyone loves good drama. Everyone likes to stir the pot, so.
No, that is so true. And I think I got into it when I was like, especially in my, not feels, but like I was like, the idea of finding a perfect spouse or a perfect person, you know, that does seem kind of appealing, or at least in that time period before I started dating someone did. So it was like, if I can't find love in my own life, I can watch other people find love. That's like fake love.
Do you follow them, the couples, like after the season? Do they still stay together? Like, is it a real marriage, or is it just for the show?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure there are still people married, and some people have actually had kids, and so it's like a solid, relationship. But a lot of them end up like breaking up within like the first few months. Also because it's filmed like ahead of the time when it's showing. Like by the time it's caught up to the end and it's like live, like the people have already broken up. Yeah, like you're literally like just catching up on their life, and by the time it actually premieres, they break up like the next week. They were just waiting for it to premiere, kind of. So it is fake. It is really fake in that sense. But I found like a lot of people that I actually do like what they're talking about in their content, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings, obviously. So
It's also probably like escapism too, because you just want to think about their own world and not to like whatever you're stressed about.
But I feel like that's a guilty pleasure of a lot of people, like trashy TV or reality TV, something that's seen as like easy to watch, kind of brainless. I don't know if you guys watch that kind of show, but yeah, I love that kind of TV.
I mean, I watch survival shows.
Reality TV, but Emmy Wong does.
Who?
Yeah, I think survival shows are. No, Emmy Wong.
What about Emmy Wong?
Anyway,
Who?
I was watching it. I was watching it recommendations. Okay, but anyways, so survival shows, they like to stir up the drama, but like also I feel like it's not brainless because I'm like watching people train, so it feels like it kind of feels like it's being productive, or like you're supporting someone real, because there's actually like real results at the end.
I mean, yeah, but then they're like stirring up drama for like their people's like real future, so like their life is on the line, kind of. Yeah, it's like even more like unethical sometimes.
It's a double-edged sword.
Do the winners of survival shows, like they're like talent survival shows, right? Do they actually become famous, like actually famous?
Yeah, because they get to form a group at the end and then do like promotions.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually like they always form a very famous group because I mean in the end the group is formed based off of audience votes, so they have to be liked by the general public in order to be formed, and then but like by the time they combine all the popular people, then like the group itself must be very popular because of that.
Yeah, it's like a marketing scheme.
It's a winning strategy, I guess.
I wish that's how The Bachelor was sometimes. Like we could help select the spouse.
Wait, yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
Then you'd be really like messing with their life. But I feel like sometimes I would make better choices than they would.
But you would feel so guilty if they ended up being like the wrong person,
I guess.
Okay.
We can always break up. Okay, well, I guess the next one.
Sorry, I'm confused by this because ASMR sounds so peaceful and not guilty at all.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so my guilty pleasure is ASMR. And let me explain why it's guilty, I guess. So I guess now it's more mainstream. So there isn't that much like guilt behind it or behind saying that you like ASMR because more people are like aware of it. But I think it's guilty because like most people are casual listeners of ASMR, just like the cooking videos, or I don't know what else casual people listen to, but but if you're like really into ASMR, like you listen to, I don't know, some of the more weirder ASMR videos. So I've listened to like role playing ones, which are like they sound weird, but it's actually kind of cool, and, like relaxing, because it's like the point of view of someone's doing something to you. So like sometimes they'll be like a mock doctor's checkup or something, or it can be like someone massaging you or someone putting makeup on you. So it feels like they'll like do it to the camera. So it's like from the camera's point of view. So you feel like they're touching you, and like with the sounds, it's kind of like an immersive experience.
I don't think I like that.
Yeah, which is like, it's not something that everyone likes, but I think it's cool. Like, has that feeling of physical touch while not actually touching you. I don't know.
Oh, I just don't like the ones where they're like mouth movements.
The ASMR. Yeah, I can see. I don't know. I don't really watch those specifically, but I've seen some of them, and I don't know. Sometimes the mouth move, depending on it also depends on ASMR artists. So some of them are good, and some of them are just like they don't know how to create the atmosphere, so they're just making sounds to me. So I'm like picky about what ASMR I listen to, but also like how creative people are about creating their sounds. Like you can make ASMR out of like literally anything that makes sound, so they can get pretty creative with their props and like what they do to them. Like I saw you guys' ASMR where they were like I forgot how they did this, but they were cracking glass with water. So I think it was like glass cups, and they like preheated the cups with flame, and then once you splash or spray cold water to them, it cracks, and like the sound of glass cracking is so, I don't know, it's so ASMR-y. Yeah, satisfying.
Lisa, I have a question for you. I think when I first heard ASMR, I learned that it's actually the acronym means something, and it's like people who listen to ASMR sometimes actually feel like a physical sensation. Do you feel that?
Yeah, it's like the tingle.
Yeah, do you feel the tingle?
If it's good. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, which is why I like it, because I want to feel that tingle, but it doesn't always happen. They have to be good. Wait, let me look it up.
The acronym?
Wait, is it like the tingle?
Oh,
you know the thing was like you crack an egg on your head and then like
sensory
it's dripping down.
Like the massage thing?
No, it's like a little song kind of.
Yeah, like the one where you're like crack an egg and then you like use your fingers to drip it down their head or something.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's kind of like the feeling that you're going for.
But what was the acronym?
ASMR? Okay, it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Meridian.
So, it was like a brain.
Think on that. I don't see a word about brain anywhere, but okay.
I mean, I kind of like when you were explaining it, I guess I understand it. I understand it. The more role-playing ones.
It's a tingling sensation that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's that localized for me, but I just like, I don't know. I don't really feel like like a physical tingle, but I feel like relaxed, I guess, when I listen to it.
It's a full body tingle.
Yeah.
Full body
Full
tingle.
body. Yeah, it's an immersive experience, which I like. Especially when you have headphones on.
Do you close your eyes?
No, because I like seeing the visuals too. It helps you experience it more.
So it's like another
But sometimes
form
I listen
of...
to it. Sometimes I listen to it when I try to fall asleep. So then I close my eyes. But I think it also helps with trying, like, falling asleep. Because some of the sounds can be, like, soothing.
It's like, it sounds like another form of maybe not as strong as escapism as like reality TV is, but just another way of putting yourself in a different environment or more soothing or more pleasurable like experience, I guess. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I'm definitely on the normie ASMR where like I like the food and that's about it.
I watch like aloe cutting ASMR or like vegetable cutting sometimes because it sounds really nice. But I don't get like any feeling.
Yeah. Sally, do you feel guilty or do you consider this a guilty pleasure just because it's not like super, super common?
I don't know if I would say guilty, but I think more like embarrassing pleasure because I don't know. I think most people when they hear ASMR, they're kind of like, "Oh, what is like? Ew, you like ASMR?" Or like that stuff's so weird. I don't know, like just that kind of sentiment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also like the ASMR community is kind of niche, I think. But I like it.
You need like
Anyways,
your Tumblr back so you can have an ASMR community Tumblr.
Oh yeah.
True. No, I'm past those days.
Okay. Linda?
Okay. Linda.
I guess similar to Ming, my guilty pleasure is like a form of escapism into like a narrative. And I also try to like deal with the guilt by going to the intellectual route. So my guilty pleasure is fan fiction. I haven't written any just because I feel like I'm not a good writer. I can't like express anything, but I do consume it. And whenever I get into a new media, I like to go on AO3 and look up the top or like the most popular works to see like what the fandom likes to talk about. Because every, I guess, different fandom for a media has things that they like, such as one show would have like a super compelling like relationship, but another show would have like a really nice world building aspect to it. So fans like to explore different I guess different features of the show. So I like to see like what they like to talk about. And I think the guilt comes from that being I guess writing fan fiction is seen as like a very teenage girl thing to do. You know how like people write like One Direction fan fiction, like Wattpad or something, and then it's like Zayn Malik plucks me out of the crowd and then we fall in love or something. But a lot of it goes like super deep and okay, I don't think I'm like immune to the guilt of it by now because I did speak in front of like, oh my god, like 100 people at Ikasu just like presenting about it, and I did write a paper that, oh my god, my office found out and they like emailed the whole team like, congratulations, I can't wait to read it. And I feel like so exposed. But like it's too late now. I have to own that I like it, and I think that I do kind of like intellectualize it, but some of it is really trashy, like, and some of it is like super problematic because there's things where like fans would try to whitewash characters or write like a problematic relationship. So there are definitely problems, but you know, with anything, there's good parts and parts that you just kind of have to not deal with it or find some way to accept it. But for fandom, I'm like, you're not being a passive consumer of media. You're somehow it makes it okay if you're putting your own, I guess, twist to it as a fan. So if a media is like super problematic, like there's a racist character in it, you could rewrite it as a better character and use that to kind of deal with how harmful the original media can be. So it is kind of like a coping strategy in a sense, or it has potential to be one.
That's a really good point of honestly, I didn't even know that fan fiction was problematic in those ways. I thought it I guess I had that general perspective. Oh, it's just like really obsessed fans writing themselves into a story or something. I didn't realize there was so much to, I guess, process behind it. But that kind of makes sense where when you take control of the story or the media itself, then that feels like you have more of the power, and so you can make it more whatever, like, okay, I guess, in your mind. Like it's a way of kind of like taking it back, I guess.
Yeah, because you know how in Avatar there's Zuko who was like abused as a child by his father, and there's people who like also went through like child abuse and they were projecting onto this character, so they were writing fan fiction as a way to kind of express that experience. But on the other side is people who like have no idea what like are like writing problematic things like he should just get over it or something in their fan fiction. So it's like you're just opening up the world to different things, and you have to be careful and like look at the tags to see what you're really like about to read.
Are there like genres to fan fiction? Like, is that what you mean by tags?
Yeah, on AO3 there's like different tags because you can tag like enemies to lovers, which is one of my favorite tags. Or you can tag things like this is like a trigger warning for child abuse or something. Which is nice because like regular books don't have it, and then suddenly you'll be reading it and then it's like a super problematic thing comes up. But also fan fiction is free. I can read it on my phone, and I don't have like the patience for a super long book. So
true.
I think that's like more accessible to read.
True.
Sally, I don't know about you, but my first and I think only probably encounter with fan fiction was on Tumblr again. I think it was just like randomly like popped up. And I
what
guess
fan fiction? Like what story or characters?
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a love. It was like what you said, Luna, an enemy to lover thing, but it was between McSteamy and McDreamy. So
wait,
it was
actually,
like the two male doctors like being enemies and fighting like they do in the actual TV show, but then they eventually like grow to love each other. And I was kind of caught up in it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was trying to the thing with fan fiction on Tumblr, I think, was that they released it like as they wrote it, I guess, or it wasn't complete. So I like got to the end and I was like, oh dang. And then I kind of just forgot about it, I guess. But
yeah, I think for me too, it was similar where it was like a K-pop group, and then a lot of times people would write fanfics about members within the same group. So like, I don't know, they have like different tropes, but then it's always like these is well, a lot of times it's like NSFW stuff. So then I didn't know. I mean, I didn't look at the tags, but like I just ran into it, and then I started reading it because it was about members of this group that I liked, and I was like, interesting. And yeah, sometimes it gets pretty raunchy.
Linda, what do you have to say for the NSFW?
I mean, it'd be like that sometimes. I don't know what to say.
Just be like that.
But you said you would never, or would you ever write your own fan fiction?
I have some ideas, but whenever I like try to write it, I don't know. I might draw something though, because fan art is a little bit less, I guess, shameful. I guess because I guess not that many people are drawing NSFW stuff, or at least not where I'm seeing. I think a lot of artists do fan art as a way to break into the community of other artists. Like, I think I heard like if you draw furry art, you're gonna make so much money just because the community is so involved. So it's like a lucrative side gig to do. But I don't know if furries are like fan art though. I think it's just like a genre.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. That's interesting. I feel like basically everything we've talked about in terms of like guilty pleasures, there's like a way for you to make it your own, or I don't know, to like put your own touch to it. Whether like with Linda's, obviously it's pretty like obvious in the way that people do that, where they write themselves into it or they write the scenarios they want to see. And then like for The Bachelor, I think of how like the podcast I listen to kind of I don't know what the word is, Linda, but they change what the meaning of the show is to them. Like to me now, it's not about the fakeness of trying to find true love. It's about like seeing how these people act and how that reflects our society now. And then I don't know, Sally, like ASMR, people make it to be in their own scenarios, but it is kind of cool how that's what the guilty pleasures are seen as sometimes. Like we're
it can be personalized, I guess.
yeah, personalized. That's a good way of putting it.
But also, I feel like sometimes that plays into part of the guilt. Like, it feels guilty because it's too personal. Like, for Tumblr, it's guilty because you're writing your personal feelings onto it.
Yeah.
And for fan fiction, you feel guilty because sometimes you're reading something that's super personal, but no, you can't find that kind of thing anywhere else. So that's like the place where you have to get it. And I don't know how personal ASMR can be, but I guess it sounds like touching you and stuff. That's also pretty personal.
That's a good point. Yeah. I get that's almost like why you don't want to tell other people about it too, because it's your own thing and you don't want to be safe space. You don't want to be like judged for it, I guess. Or that's how I feel. So
yeah, totally agree.
So in this episode, we talked about our guilty pleasures, and I think we hit some special notes in our lives. We talked about ASMR, Tumblr, escapism for watching shows or reading fan fiction. So if you also have a guilty pleasure, I hope you can relate to our experiences. I hope you have some way to cope with the guilt, and I hope that you can feel comfortable to seek out more guilty pleasures in the future.
And you can make sure to check out our website at movingalongpod.com, where you can find all of our episodes and show notes with links. Maybe we'll include a link to Sally's Tumblr or Spotify playlist. Who knows?
And if you like this episode, you can follow us on IG and subscribe on iTunes or Spotify. And starting from this episode, we also are posting our episodes on YouTube, so you can check it out there too.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Ooh, we're in sync.